Hello, everyone. Hope you had a good lunch. Thank you for having me here. So don't pay attention to the picture. It's not really me anymore. That's what 10 years in the video game industry will do to you. Anyway, so do you remember the last time, or rather, do you remember when you moved from having no internet to actually having internet and having it part of your life? If you're like me, you probably don't, right? It's been a kind of smooth transition, and one day you didn't have internet, I didn't grow with internet, and suddenly one day I had it. But when it comes to AI, and when it comes to ChatGPT, that tidal wave that kind of like ran over us over the past almost year now, you realize that there is something pretty incredible about it, right? And it's very likely that when you talk maybe to your children or whoever in the future, you'll be able to clearly say, oh, yeah, the AI was born from the moment where ChatGPT was released and where we all started to use it. And so it made me think about this very famous quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which is, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I think this is what we are living right now. Now, the thing is, for us, kind of like mere mortal, it might seem like magic, right? This ChatGPT, that this AI that just talked to you as if it was a friend, as a lawyer, as a counselor. There's a lot of ways to talk with it, right? And the way it talks back to you kind of have a feeling of like there's a ghost in a machine or something like that. But for AI companies, such as myself, the company I'm working for, SingularityNET, it's actually not the case. It's like another Tuesday at the office. Of course, SingularityNET doesn't have any office, so it doesn't work really. But this is what it is. And it started actually for us many, many years ago. That gentleman, Ben Gorzel, is the CEO and founder of SingularityNET. And it's kind of like we call him the father of AGI because he coined the term, meaning artificial general intelligence, which is the next step of AI. But what is interesting is that he's been doing that for decades and decades, right? But always in the dark. And now suddenly they're like everywhere, on every medium. Everyone wants to talk to these type of geniuses, right? AI geniuses. And now the important thing that you need to understand about us is that Ben, the man with the plan, has a vision. And the vision is to create a decentralized version of AGI, inclusive and beneficial, meaning for you and I, for a better world, right? So of course he didn't get by himself. He just got surrounded with a lot of other geniuses, and that's kind of like the team that is helping him to build this crazy dream of artificial general intelligence. So we got Sergey, Edra, Niels, Matt, Alexei, and together they built the company called SingularityNET back in 2017. And the reason why they did it mainly at that time was because blockchain was like starting to really, really get traction. And they thought, hey, for the first time, there is a technology that allows us to bring our life to reality. Meaning, it's decentralized, which means that everyone has a role to take into the monitoring of the technology, in terms of participation of the technology, right? It's not only few key players, it's everybody. That's why we believe in the part of the decentralization. It's transparent. the ledger. I mean, all of you are blockchain people for like probably a good 90% of you, so you understand what it means, right? You understand that transparency, you can't hide behind the system. Everything is out there to see. And then one of the most important things, actually, the data ownership, is that for the first time, as you know, you can own your data, right? You can give permission to certain companies or institutions or whatever to use your data. And guess what? They need you to pay you for this, right? So let's dive a little bit more into, because the question is about the future of decentralized AI. But if we want to know the future, we kind of need to know what's the present, like where are we, what's the gap analysis that we have to cover. And as you may know, by the lack of graphic cards, that the big crisis of graphic card that happened a while ago, AI is very, very compute and data intensive. That means that it needs to run a ton and ton and ton of data to be able to work as you use a ChatGPT or something like that. The other very important thing is that it's a big tech monopoly, meaning that if you want to build a ChatGPT tomorrow, well, good luck. You're going to need a lot to be able to do that. But meanwhile, all the big behemoths of this world, all these big tech, they run and they do it, right? So the last part which impacts us on almost a personal level, being a small AI company, is that the dev themselves and app dev, AI devs, and all people that develop directly, with their small team, well, they can't really do that with AI. It's very, very complicated. So what they do is they either go to work for these big guys, or they actually sell their big ideas to these big guys. That's kind of like the way to, move forward with your career and reach, to get into the very, very interesting project. The other thing that is quite, so that's on the industry level, AI industry level, right? We have this kind of like limitation. Now there is another limitation, which is on the feature level, not the product level. As you know, if you played with ChatGPT, it lies to its teeth, right? It's the best liar in the city, right? Because it lies with conviction. It doesn't know it lies, but it lies crazy. And that is a problem, right? Because if you need to, some people found out the hard way when I think they did some law exam and something like that, and they realized that there was some very, very wrong factual answer, right? So it is problem. The problem is that it's in their design. They cannot do anything else than just lie and hallucinate, right? Again, it's very, very, because it's very resource and data intensive, that means it's very, very costly, right, to run these machines. And so not everybody, not the legal guy can do it, and it creates a sense of, there's a lack of transparency, basically. But another point is the opacity of it. If you think about when we ask people about how do you know this? How do you come up with this answer? Most of these engine, kind of like what's called DNN, Deep Neural Net, which is ChatGPT is based on, they cannot explain themselves, right? So we don't know exactly how they do it, right? And the last part, again, lack of transparency, is that we don't know what goes into it, what people use as data, and we've seen a lot of copyright problems and stuff like that. All these big tech, we don't know what they put in there. We don't know what they use, what kind of data they use to train the system. And that is a little bit problematic, right? So I just wanted to show for you who didn't necessarily use it a lot, or kind of like keep an eye on where the tech is going, kind of like what are the type of ideas that we have. I wanted to play you one little video to explain the power of these LM and how they hallucinate, because this is part of the hallucination.
Spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise.
So you probably know Frank Sinatra, of course, died a long time ago, who is actually singing a song from Coolio, a rapper, this famous Gangsta Paradise. And that's the amazing kind of creativity, because the system is hallucinating, right? And actually one person said probably the best is Post Malone, who had not too long ago an interview, and where it says, look, if someone tomorrow says, you know what, I want Post Malone to sing a thing about me, about my friend, about a situation that I was in personally, and I want the name of my girlfriend, whatever, who was it? You can do it, right? And he's saying basically, give me 5-6 months and I'm completely irrelevant, right? Nobody will want to hear my song, because who would not want instead to hear a song about themselves, right? So the thing about this creativity, though, is that it's limited by the tech it's actually on, right? So it starts at the bottom, which is the kind of like the AI that we all know. It's called narrow AI. And then it goes to the next step, which is narrow AGI, right? And so the idea is that there is on the tech level, the people like us who build this kind of like technology, there is a vertical progression. Now, if you have been, again, playing with all these tools, you understand that there is a very incredible horizontal progression, right? So you have ChatGPT, look at how many creation are coming out every day. I think we are closing on 100 to 200 new projects every week in terms of AI, like API project based on ChatGPT and so on. And so they are limited on that front, so they can't really go up until the next generation of technology comes out. So this is what we are working on, right? We are working on the next level, which is narrow AGI and AGI. So you might ask, what does that look like, right? So first, a little bit about kind of like SingularityNET and kind of like the range of things we are working on. We're pretty much in all the different major sectors, industries. We're on DeFi, we're on health tech, enterprise, media, arts, game, what have you. And we are working there to provide the engine to these app and to these companies, right? We are spinning off different company as a foundation. And so we are building an ecosystem, a robust ecosystem that will help us to propel to the next level, which is narrow AGI and AGI. So let me tell you a tiny little bit, without going too much into details, because then some of you will go running away. So I'm going to be very kind of like simple about it. We have what is called neural symbolic LLMs, large language model. And that's the next step, meaning that when ChatGPT lies, when ChatGPT doesn't know, 2 by 2 or any mathematical problem, cannot solve them, the neural symbolic LLMs can't do that, right? They're the next level where they have this self-logical, self-reflecting, reasoning way to go about things. So I put you a plane just to kind of give you an idea of, for example, one of their features, which is visual interpretation, right? You would have a picture of this and you would just tell the LLM or the DNS LLM, you would just tell them, what's the color of this plane? And the LLM would tell you it's red. But of course, you're like, wait a minute, how does he know that, right? So that's kind of like what the engine allows you, what the tech is allowing. And it's very complicated how it happens, but that's how it happens, right? So it is grounded in truth and fact and common sense. And one of the way we do that, and we are getting pretty much an expert on this, is using what's called knowledge graph. You might have heard about it. If you don't, I'll just give you a very, very quick explanation. It's very actually kind of like simple in concept. Basically, there are a KG knowledge graph is a structured data system. And it's based on what we call nodes, which are an object, a thing, and an edge, which build a relationship. So for example, Paris is the capital of France, right? But Paris is also the place where I live, right? And it's the place where, let's say, Victor Hugo lived. So if you go and you look for that information, then it's going to have a lot more common sense, a lot more understanding about where the information is. It's not just predictive, as in a regular LLM, but it's just trying to get, okay, that's what you're asking for, that means this is connected. Like, for example, if you were to ask a neurosymbolic LLM, where is Paris? They wouldn't say, oh, Paris Hilton, she's probably partying on the beach. No, they would say, oh, Paris, where is Paris? Paris is in France, right? And it's because it's trying to get it has a knowledge of whoever that came before you and asked the very same question, and 99.9% of the time, they were actually looking for Paris in France. So that's the thing that you would get straight as an answer. Now, and that's the conclusion of it, is that the very important thing that you need to understand, and the battle that is at stake here, it's actually you. Like, you are the evolution, you are the next level of this battle that AI is gonna fight for. And actually, when I say you, I mean more your personal data, all right? Because, and that's where blockchain comes in and help us to do what we needed to do and to protect us, is that we come back to the beginning, full circle, and say, okay, my private data, now that, because look, ChatGPT crawled the entire internet already. There's no second internet, third internet to get data from. It kind of like got all the data that was to get already. And when you use it, it's still a lot of problem. So it won't go much higher than that. So we need a next evolution. But what is this next evolution? Again, it's your personal data. It's your emails. It's your chat, your chat with your friends. It's all of that. But it's tailored to your needs if you want to. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of giving my personal data to the Facebook of this world, right? They don't pay a dime for it, right? So here you get a chance to be able, thanks to blockchain and thanks to the project that are being built on blockchain, you will have the chance to be owning your data, right? And to be participating in these AI projects, and you'll be able to just kind of like, well, monetize if you want, right? But whatever, you will be able to give permission to whoever you want. And we are doing that already, and through Knowledge Graph, by the way. So the thing with the Knowledge Graph is that there is, like Google search, for example, everybody every day use Google search. That's a knowledge graph. Not everybody knows it, right? But that is the knowledge graph. But there is such a finite amount of data or technology that you can develop on knowledge graph. And we are reaching the point where we need to build specific specialist knowledge graph. For example, we have a company called Rejuv AI, and we're working on health benefits and all of that. Well, we are building a knowledge graph that is very, very specific for this field. And that will encompass all the kind of information, you know, this little data, this little word, we will make them all in context so that when you talk to the app, for example, you will get the information that you need, that you would not be able to get on Google search and so on, right? So anyway, that's the idea of where we think we're going in terms of your personal data. As you may have heard, there's a big things coming out right now, which is the digital twin, right? We are building another you, meaning that you will be able to send your digital twin to work, and then you stay home. He has all your knowledge. He has everything that you ever contributed to in the company that you work for. And then that allows you even later on to move to another company and leave your twin in the previous company, right? Because that knowledge that you acquired, that retention of knowledge, you don't live with it, you stay. Or rather, your twin stays in that company. And that's very powerful because you choose, you own it, you own everything. So here, as you've seen, she's following me. It's a bit weird, but she is. We got Daisy, and Daisy is the robot that we brought with us to Turkey, and she is part of the experiments that we are doing. Right? We collaborated with Bendito there to build a project that is kind of like what I would say limitless, philosophical, kind of like fascinating. Because as you know right now, one of the biggest problems in this industry, the music industry, is that people, the LLM, they are very, very good at mimicking and replicating, right? So as I showed you before, you put a voice of a famous person that sing another song, and you know, if one is, the next thing happens is that the legal department sharpening their weapons, right? Because they're gonna attack you and this guy who did that, and because they want copyright. Now, the idea with this project by Yaya Labs is, what if we were actually taking another perspective? What if we were contemplating another scenario? What if we were building a robot devoid of any human experience, any past, and then we bring us to the next level, or the level of stardom? We want her to become a pop star. How does that work? You know, and that's the kind of question we want to explore. Can we truly trigger a emotional response into fans, human fans? Can you actually do this? What if suddenly one day she comes and says, you know what, I don't want to be a pop star, right? So it's all these crazy questions that Bendito and the team at Yaya Labs are exploring right now. And so maybe she's part as well of the next wave of and the future of AI, right? And she's smiling. So this is where we are right now. So I think we're going to have Bendito and the team coming online to discuss about the project, about Daisy. You're going to see Daisy interacting with GI and Bendito. And yeah, that's my cue. Thank you.